Do you want to learn how to astral project but don't know where to start? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk you through 5 simple steps to have an out-of-body experience the easy way. Hi everyone, it's Rosalie here from RosalieYoga, where I help you lay the foundations for personal growth through yoga nidra, meditation, and astral projection. Now, astral projection can be used for many things: to have fun, to explore the unknown, and also, most importantly in my opinion, for spiritual growth. Because once you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you are so much more than your physical body, your whole outlook on the world changes. Now, if you're brand new to this, astral projection is where you have the sense that a part of you can detach from the physical body. And that other part of you can go out and travel to other places, see people on this realm and in other realms. This other part of you can sometimes be referred to as your energy body or your astral body. The label for me doesn't really matter, but it's what this other part of you can do. It's really quite amazing. This can happen spontaneously, or it's also something that you can induce, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, I've had hundreds of out-of-body experiences, or OBEs as I call them, since I was a child. And I've really refined a way that makes it feel easy and natural, and that draws on one of my favorite practices, which is yoga nidra. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. Now, if you have been trying to astral project for a while and you're struggling, please know that this is a skill, and it's a skill that anyone can learn with a bit of patience and a lot of practice. So step number 1, preparation. You really want to set yourself up for success by preparing both yourself and your environment. So let's start with preparing yourself, and that includes your mindset and your intention. So your mindset is absolutely key, and the best is to be open to the possibility that anything can happen, and at the same time to have no expectations. And also be relaxed about it. So if you get too fixated and you're trying to force something to happen, you're starting to create tension within yourself. The more relaxed you are, paradoxically, the easier it's going to happen. But having said that, it helps to have an intention. So what do you want to do once you're out of body? You know, where do you want to go? What do you want to see? It's really important to have something in mind, a goal, and to write it down. So I really encourage you to have a separate book. This is my out-of-body journal. All my dreams, all my out-of-body experiences are in this journal right now. There are many, many journals, but have a dedicated journal where you're writing all of this down. Make a list of goals. It could be, someone specific that you want to meet, maybe meeting a higher aspect of yourself, what I call my higher self. It could be to have the experience of flying through the air or swimming with dolphins. Both things I've done out of body, and I highly recommend both of them. So write everything down in your journal. So that's just very briefly about preparing yourself, your mindset, and your intention. So let's go on to preparing your environment, and I'll try to zip through this quickly as well. It makes a huge difference if you have a separate out-of-body exploration area that's not your bed. And the reason for that is we mainly associate our beds with sleeping. So have a separate area, whether that's your sofa or if you have a spare room with a spare bed, that's great. Just something separate that's not your bed. If this is your only choice, if you only have your bed, then try to put your head where you would normally put your feet. I have practiced that way with success as well in my bed. Another reason for this is that many prominent out-of-body exploration authors like William Buhlman and Bob Peterson have said that it's difficult for them to astral project whilst they're in their bed with their spouses next to them. So again, if you have your separate area, then your spouse is not going to be with you, your partner, so that'll make it a little bit easier. Now, that doesn't mean it's impossible in your own bed with your partner next to you. I've projected many, many times that way, but this is just trying to set yourself up for success, especially at the beginning. So I personally practice in my bed when I go to sleep with my husband next to me. And I also practice on the sofa after 4 to 6 hours sleep, something called with a weight back to bed method, which I'll talk about in a future video, or if I have an afternoon nap. So the ideal is for you to be really comfortable in a quiet room, no distractions, and I personally like to practice with an eye mask. And also make sure that you have your journal next to you, because you'll want to write into it when you come back. And also make sure that you've used the toilet. The worst is when you finally are able to astral project and your body's telling you you need a wee, so you have to come back and go for a wee. So make sure you use a toilet. Right, that's briefly the preparation. Let's move on to step number 2, and that's a mind awake, body asleep state. Essentially, you want to let your body deeply relax, while at the same time you keep your mind awake and alert. So your body's relaxed and asleep, your mind is awake. Now, there are many different methods for achieving this state, but the practice I use, and I've always used with a lot of success, is Yoga Nidra. So you just lie down, preferably on your back, close your eyes, and you have to remain completely still. And Yoga Nidra is a very systematic practice that helps you kind of drop down into deeper and deeper layers of yourself. For me, it's one of the most powerful practices, not just for OBEs, but to help you regulate your nervous system, to deal with stress, to sleep better, and so much more. And that's what I love about this method, is even if you do not astral project, you're still gaining all the benefits of a Yoga Nidra practice. Now, Yoga Nidra will bring you into this sort of magical in-between state, this twilight state. Your brain waves have slowed down, your breathing slowed down. The hardest part of this whole mind awake, body asleep state is actually staying awake. You'll find yourself dipping in and out of sleep. Now, I've created quite a few guided astral projection meditations that use Yoga Nidra, and I'm going to link to them in the description below. You'll find there are different exit techniques. But let's move on to step number 3, and that's the vibrational state. So once you're in this beautiful in-between kind of dreamy state, and then you can maintain it, you might start to feel tingling or pulses of energy, or sometimes you can hear very loud sounds or roars, and it's different for everyone what you will experience in the vibrational state. And it's important to note, not everyone has this state, but many people do, but not everyone will. Just a little bit of a warning though, that this can be really, really frightening and quite intense. So when it happened to me for the very first time, I was 13 years old, and I really thought I was being possessed because I had just seen the film The Exorcist. And for years and years and years, I was terrified of sleeping. I really avoided sleep because every time I laid down, my whole body would violently shake. It was really a violent thing for me that happened, and it was really quite traumatic because I felt paralyzed and I couldn't snap out of it. Didn't know what was happening until I read a book by Robert Monroe, his first book, Journeys Out of the Body, when I was 19, and it literally changed my life because I finally knew what was happening to me. So Robert Monroe set up the Monroe Institute in Virginia, and I'd highly recommend, if you really are interested in out-of-body experiences, to check it out. I've done their Gateway program there years ago, and it was amazing. So I can't recommend it highly enough. Robert Monroe created Hemisync, which is essentially binaural beats. He's done so much. He's really a pioneer in the out-of-body exploration area. He died in 1995, and he is one of my heroes, and it's really one of my top out-of-body exploration goals is to meet Robert Monroe on the astral planes, and I will one day. But I want to come back to you. So when this happens to you and you feel the vibrational state, just surrender to them. You know what it is. It's really frightening, especially when you don't know what it is, but you know that this might happen to you, so you can expect it. Welcome these sensations, relax into them, and then start to make them go up and down faster and faster, from your feet to the crown of your head, up and down your body, and you're trying to make them reach their peak. Once you feel like this is their peak, that's your window of opportunity to practice an exit technique. It's important not to do this too long, because if you just get fixed into the sensations, making them go up and down, they might start to fade, and then you lose that window of opportunity. Now, just a little tip, if it gets too much and it's too intense and you want to snap out of it, but you feel like you can't because your body is paralyzed, then change your breathing. As soon as you change your breathing, it will bring you right back. And by that I mean speed up your breathing or just slow it down, this breathing pattern. Right, so you're in the mind awake, body asleep state. You're speeding these vibrations up and down. You've reached their peak. That brings us to step number 4, which is the exit. Now, there are so many different techniques to detach your energy body, your astral body, from the physical body. It will be different for everyone, and it will feel different for everyone. And also, it might be different for you from one experience to the next. So sometimes you can feel very heavy. You can just feel like you can sink out of your body. Sometimes you're very light, you can float up, or sometimes you can just sit up. And sometimes you can feel like you're instantaneously in a place as soon as you think about it. So I'm going to make another video at a future date sharing different techniques, but for the purposes of this intro video, we're going to keep it really simple. So you can either try to sit up or to float up. And I find that's really kind of the easiest, especially at the beginning. Or follow one of the exit techniques that I have in one of my videos. But it's super important to remember that it's your energy body or your astral body that's actually moving. Your physical body should be completely still, so the physical body doesn't move. So another quick tip here, and it's something I learned from William Buhlman and something that's helped me tremendously time and time again, and that's to command what you want. So if you exit, for example, and you can't see clearly, which happens often at the beginning, you command clarity now. Whatever it is that you need, just command it with a very strong intent behind it. And also know that strong emotions like feeling scared or really, really excited can bring you back in your body in a blink of an eye. So to try to keep your emotions in check. I know it's hard, but just try. So I've created several videos that take you through all these different steps using Yoga Nidra. We go through the mind awake, body asleep state. We go through the vibrational state, try to induce that, make it a little bit stronger, and then a different exit technique. And you can find all those videos in the description below. But these videos let you stay in the experience you're having, so my voice is not going to bring you back. So if you are just deeply consciously relaxing, stay in that. If you are asleep, stay in that, have a good sleep. But if you are out of body, then have a great journey. Finally, step number 5, which is the return. So just thinking of your physical body will bring you right back in. So when I return, I personally like to keep my eyes closed and just integrate the experience. So just do a mental review of where I went, who I saw, what was said, and also what I learned. If there's anything that I want to do differently next time or anything like that, I just do a mental review first, and then I sit up, have a drink of water, and very importantly then is I just write it in my journal. And I can't emphasize enough how important it is to have a separate journal, because it's not only to recall your experience, but it sends a really strong signal to your subconscious mind that this is something that's important to you, and it's something you want to invite more of in your life. Now, there is so much more that I really would love to share about astral projection, but I want to keep this video relatively short as a little introduction. But know that you can never get lost. And when you're out of body, as soon as you think of your physical body, you will snap right back in. So if you're ever in a situation where you feel a little bit scared or anxious, just think of your body and you'll come right back in. Now, if you're struggling to stay awake in this mind awake, body asleep state, I'd highly recommend that you start to practice more Yoga Nidra in your waking state without the intention of having an out-of-body experience. Just practice Yoga Nidra maybe instead of your normal meditation routine. I do Yoga Nidra every single morning before my meditation, and it really helps you start to maintain awareness in that state. I'm going to put some links to a few short Yoga Nidra practices in the description below. So those were the 5 steps: preparation, the mind awake, body asleep state, the vibrational state, the exit, and the return. Now, I know that's a lot, but the subject is huge. And let me know what your biggest takeaway was in the comments below. And if you like this video, please go ahead and hit the like button and share it with anyone who you think might be interested. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope to see you again soon.